I'm pretty much packed and ready to go. Before I go, I spend the day with my babies. So you can see my makeup. I went with the smoky eye. I always wear a smoky eye. And because there are outlets for help that are online. I myself, my website, kinkycurlycoilyme.com is an outlet.
Hello, everyone. So if you watched my London vlogs, then you saw that I was in London for an event. And while there, I did an interview for BBC London. And I filmed a good portion of the interview. I didn't get to film the entire thing, but I did film about 50% of it. In the vlog, however, I only showed a small portion of it because it was so long. But if you'd like to see what I did capture, please stay tuned.
I'm so excited. When you hear BBC London, it's like, oh my God!
Well, look, I'm all grouping on you, so, you know, it's a mutual appreciation society.
Oh, you're so
Your
cute.
first time to London?
Oh my goodness, is it? Yes.
So, Jenell Stewart, otherwise known as Kinky Curly Coily Me.
That's me.
Welcome to London.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the BBC.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Pleasure. So you just got in this morning. You're here for the weekend.
Yeah.
Tell us about. You're a Liberian American, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Tell us about your heritage.
My mother and my father, they were born in Liberia, Africa, and they sought refuge in the United States back when Liberia was going through a horrible time with a civil war. And so I was born and raised in New York. I grew up there, and I actually still live in New York, although I did go to school in a different state, but New York is just like, my heart is just there. My family raised me as African, very much so. I didn't grow up eating macaroni. I didn't grow up eating ramen noodles, not much hamburgers and hot dogs. We ate African food.
Yeah.
Yes, so when I would go to school, it would be the one or two meals that I had that I could enjoy American food. And then, of course, as I got older and visited friends, I had the opportunity to eat how they ate.
That's a very familiar story. Likewise, my parents from the Caribbean, so at home it was Caribbean food. At school,
Oh,
fish
yes.
fingers and chips.
Yes, yes.
So really,
exactly.
really so you're a New Yorker. You're a New
I
Yorker.
am.
And what do you do? I know you know, we'll get onto the hair bit, but I know you're a professional woman.
Yeah, so when I first started finding my career, actually, I graduated from the University of Rhode Island with a bachelor's in philosophy and political science and a minor in African American studies. I knew for sure I was going to be a lawyer. My mom always said, you always have something to say. You always have an answer for everything. But then I decided I wanted to take a different path because I started to think about how much time it would actually take to go through with law school and where my family planning fit into that. Being African, family and having a lot of children and having a lot of relatives is very much a part of our culture. So that was something that was instilled with me. I have 5 brothers and I have 4 sisters.
Wow.
So I really wanted to have children. Moving on, I went to get my master's in education so I could still have an advanced degree to collect more coins, you know, and you get the advanced degree, you get more money. Yeah. So I actually taught in the public school for several years. My master's is in education, and I left that to do administrative work for the Department of Health doing early intervention, which is a form of, you could say, special ed for babies, where the government will do evaluations to determine whether a child has any special needs and can qualify for services. Yeah. So I did that, and at the same time of both of these different career paths, I cut off all my my relaxed hair. I cut off all my relaxed hair.
And how long has you been relaxed at that point?
At that point, pretty much from, let's say, about 6 years old, all the way through until 25.
And that's quite late, 6 for an American.
Yeah.
From what I've been reading on blogs, Americans were having their hair straightened.
Out of the womb.
Yeah. I mean, you know, for me as a black British woman, that was like, really?
Yes. It's a culture. It's so much a culture. This is what you do because you don't know what to do to your own hair. And so when your daughter has hair that's similar to the hair that you have, you also don't know what to do with her hair, so you relax it. I think the difference, maybe why my mom went a little bit later, is my mom believes in appropriate hairstyles for children. So things like wearing my hair in braids, whether it be with extensions or just my own hair naturally cornrowed, which is a very popular and ethnic style from African culture. So she would do those type of styles in my hair. And then when it got to the point where I was interested in how my hair looked and what style and how wanting to wear it out or in a ponytail, emulating that of my white girlfriends, then it was like, well, what are we going to do? Because your hair doesn't exactly do that.
It doesn't move.
Yes, it doesn't do that. So that's when she made the decision. And I actually had what they would call a jerry curl. Prior to the relaxer, because it was what my mom thought was a much milder chemical treatment.
Still curly
yes,
as well, wasn't it?
still curly and very juicy and very wet. Yes. So I left my stamp everywhere I was.
Very familiar here as well, the curly perm.
Yes.
Curly
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So, but up until 25, I had my hair relaxed. And then when I decided to go natural, based on me just finding people online who were talking about this and demonstrating how to do it. I think that was the issue, and that's the issue for everyone. It's not that we don't want to wear our hair natural, it's that we don't know how to wear our hair natural. We don't know what to do when we finally just wear it natural. What styles? How do I tame it? How do I manage it? What products do I use?
But it's interesting you use the word tame. And I noticed there's this whole idea that Afro hair needs to be tamed.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. It's definitely one of the questions I get the most. Like, what do you do to keep it not so crazy? Like, everyone's just has this fear of it looking crazy. And you hear that language amongst people who aren't natural. You hear that language myself. I hear it amongst companies who are manufacturing products. They have manageability products and all of these things. And I would say initially it was a concern of mine. How do I tame it? Because my language around natural hair has not been developed. So I would say things like, I want it to lay down. I don't want it to just stick up. I don't want it to look crazy. I don't want to look ridiculous when I go out. I don't want people to... It was always about how others were perceiving me.
Trying to get it like it would be if it was permed, flattened.
Yes.
People. I see this even today. People who go natural are still trying to... Maybe you could say the same for me today, because I've got mine gelled back.
Okay.
Still sometimes trying to flatten it.
Yes. Well, definitely, I think, when you have hair of any kind, you want to have options. So if you decide you want to wear it very wild and big, so to speak, you have that option with natural hair. But then if you want to tame it up, so to speak, and put it away or put it up or pin it up or, as you described, flatten it with some gel, you have that option too. And depending on your comfort level, depending on the situation that you're in, there's always a different appropriate hairstyles for depending on what's going on. But for me, like I said, my language wasn't really there. So once I started understanding the terminology around natural hair, it's just simple things. We have so many acronyms in natural hair. TWA. Everyone says, what's a TWA? Well, it's a teeny weeny afro, and it's essentially the very first hairstyle you have when you do the BC, which is called the big chop, when you cut off all of your hair.
Yeah.
So we have all of these different terms and all of these different things. It's a completely different culture, and we are a community. And when I started to become a part of the community, not just as someone who wore their hair natural, but someone who understood the language, the culture, understood how to style it, understood where to go for support and help, because there are outlets for help that are online. I myself, my website, kinkycurlycoilyme.com, is an outlet for help. We provide so much information on how to style your natural hair, from the very shortest style all the way up to the very longest hair. How do you care for it? That's always a big thing. My hair is so dry.
There seems to be the question about dryness and about texture. We're going to come on to that, because there's like favourite subjects in the natural hair community.
Yes.
I mean, you're this big super duper star hair blogger. I mean, you are one of the biggest.
Thank you.
But it's true.
Yeah, thank you. I still sometimes forget how well known I am until I'm in an environment where it's not related to natural hair, and I no longer have to introduce myself. As soon as I start saying, hi, my name is, they go, I know who you are. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And we're at like the grocery store.
Without asking you your age, and I'm sure I'll work it out in a moment. You said you started going natural at 25.
25, and I'm 30 now.
You're 30 now.
Yeah.
So how long have you been blogging?
I've been blogging as far as natural hair for 5 years. I had a little kind of like a hodgepodge of a blog where I talked about everything about 2 to 3 years before that. So you can say overall 8 years, but it didn't take off in the way that it has now until I focused on natural hair.
I mean, on Facebook, you're a blue tick.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Well, you're a VIP. Facebook have designated you.
Oh, that little check mark. That's a blue tick.
Yeah, well,
okay.
There is another better term for it. I just don't know the better term. But I think it started about last year. I think I noticed it for the first time.
Yeah, on Twitter it started where you would get like verified. Yes. Like the celebrities had that.
On Facebook.
I'm verified on Facebook.
And
yes.
You have got how many followers on Facebook?
On just my business page, almost 400,000.
Say that again.
On my business page, almost 400,000. Wow. And then I created more of a lifestyle, everything else about me, my mommy stuff, my cooking stuff, my weight loss stuff. And that's over 120,000 because the natural hair community is interested in so many more things. And so I'm able to relay those messages and talk about various topics with them through my other outlets.
Now, natural hair, everybody and anybody is a natural hair expert if you look online.
Oh, yeah.
How comes you have managed to, garner the imagination and interest of so many people?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I find to be unique about me is that I started my hair care journey much earlier on than some of the women who are coming around now. So there's this archive of hair videos and hair tutorials and all of these articles where I'm showing women how to style their hair from the very beginning, not after my hair has already grown to a length that people are aspiring for, but they can refer to these videos in the moment. Secondly, my hair is the texture that most women who are considering going natural are deathly afraid of. They refer to it as the most nappy, the most coarse.
Or the word frizzy.
Frizzy, yes.
I mean, see, I'm embracing the word frizzy.
Yeah.
Our hair is frizzy. It's
yes,
frizzy.
it is. That's the nature of it. And when you understand that it's supposed to have shrinkage, which everyone is afraid of, oh, it's so much shrinkage. I tell them, I said, if you had no shrinkage, your hair would be straight. Yes. So that's just a part of your hair. But being that I have that texture that people are usually not seeing in the media. They're not seeing the very tight, coarse texture hair. They're not seeing the high shrinkage hair. They're seeing more of the voluminous, softer, curly, shiny, bouncy hair. So when they see my channel, they can relate. Yeah. Wow, her hair looks just like mine, and they feel comfortable. They're at home. Yeah. And when they see that my hair and their hair have very similar textures and very similar aesthetics, they see that I'm managing and taking care of it and loving it.
And looking fabulous.
Oh, yes, fabulous, fabulous. And they love that because there's no qualms. I'm not ever on camera like, oh, my hair is just, I'm not stressed out about it. Yeah. Never negative, always positive.
So you're here for Curlvolution.
I am.
And what are you going to be sharing with the people of Curlvolution?
So first of all, I'm going to embrace everybody with my presence. I'm hoping that people who do come out get to an opportunity to take a picture with me. I love selfies. I want to get a hug as well and be able to say I've met them.
You'll get plenty.
I love that. I call my audience of followers my loves. So I can't wait to meet my loves. And then I'm hosting a workshop during the event where I'm going to talk about how natural hair isn't easy because, there's sometimes this misconception that it's easy. And no, it isn't. And I think we say that it's easy because we've gotten used to doing it. But it's not easy, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the hardest thing.
It's doable once you have a system of styles and you kind of get a way of working. Like I go from this slip back ponytail to the wash. This is the last stage. So I start off with 2 plaits, then I go into having the back out and the front up. Then I go to having it like this and it's washed. So
but I love how you transition and allow your hair to evolve because not everyone is open to that. And I talk about that a lot, how if you desire a certain look, maybe that's the last step of the entire week. Maybe it's not the first step because it does take a lot of time. For instance, just a style that we call the twist out where you 2-strand twist your hair and then you loosen the twist, fluff it out, and you have this amazing goddess fro.
Absolutely.
But you may want to keep your twist in a little bit longer so you can have a style that kind of evolves. Later on in the week, you wear the twist out, so it's not every day twist at night, untwist in the morning, and spending all that time back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be talking about that, how you can get through it, and teaching people to understand that your hair, when it was chemically treated, most likely was not 100% of the care was not done by you. So there's definitely an ease factor because you weren't doing all of it. Maybe you were going to the stylist. Maybe your aunt or your mother or your grandmother, they were doing the relaxing for you. So you just had to wake up and style your hair, but you didn't have to do all of the care. So now you're doing all of the care. And it is going to be a little bit of a challenge because now you are the licensed professional in your own hair. But once you get that down, the beauty of it is that you're no longer dependent on anyone else. And if you do go to a stylist, which I recommend for various services, and I still do myself, you can do that on a seasonal schedule or as a treat, as a gift, as an investment, something to take away, something to add to your excitement around your hair, like how you might go to the spa. You know, you don't always do a facial. You don't always have to go to the salon. So I'll be talking about that, product choices as well, and just understanding some of the basics that you don't need to do every single thing that the women on YouTube are doing.
Or have certainly been accused of being, you know, a bit harsh towards people who wear weaves and relaxers and so on and so forth. What do you say to that?
Well, I definitely feel like when you first go natural, because you've spent so much time and energy in learning how to fully be natural, it's one of those things where you just become so one-dimensional about your thinking. And it happens often. If you think about someone who has just newly embarked on a health and fitness journey and they're no longer eating fast food or they're no longer eating as much sugar.
They're preaching it.
Exactly. And they're telling everybody, don't eat that, that's bad for you, because they're so engaged in what they're doing and they're consumed in it. It's the same thing with natural hair. When you first go natural, you're so excited. For the first time in your life, you're being told you can be accepted exactly the way you are. You don't need to enhance or do something to your hair to change it. And so immediately they start preaching this self-righteousness that if you obviously aren't natural, there must be something wrong with you.
You're not conscious enough.
Yes, you don't have the same love for yourself that I do because I've done it. And that may not very well be true. There is a lot of education and self-preserving prophecy that comes from being natural, but I am inclusive of everyone. I feel like you deserve to have the right and the option. And I do have a place where I stand where I say that chemical relaxers aren't good. And it's the truth. It's the science. They aren't good for you. They're not healthy for your body. And if you want to wear your hair straight, you have options that don't require you to be chemically processed with the relaxer. You can wear your hair straight and be natural. You can get a blow dryer and you can straighten it out with the flat iron. There's so many options for you. I don't mind those. Actually, in the community of women that I work with, we refer to weaves, wigs, extensions as protective styling because when worn properly, it gives your hair a break from the constant manipulation of everyday wear and tear, you know, because there is a maintenance that requires you to do your hair at night and in the morning to restyle it and preserve it. So putting on a wig is a protective style that you can wear to keep your hair free from manipulation, and putting on some extensions is another option. A lot of women, especially from African culture, we wear extensions in the form of braids and twists and weaves as a method to preserve our hair during the colder climates, and also now for fashion. So I have nothing against it. I just preach to be careful because traction alopecia is on the rise. I mean, the edges, girls, your edges, they're gone. And because of the tension from the stress from the weaves or heavy weaves or pulling and the breakage from the braids, you see that more and more people are losing their edges because of that. Or we put the weaves and the extensions in and then we never do anything to our hair, so it breaks because it's so dry. So I preach that you learn how to moisturize while you're wearing weaves and extensions. Don't put the weave on
as a hat.
And then you just wear it every day as a hat and never touch your hair. Don't do that.
So that's brilliant. Let me just get some questions about you. So
okay.
Let's talk about you and your hair care.
All right.
Now. So just some quick fire questions. What would you say is the biggest mistake people are making with their hair?
I would say that for the most part, when it comes to your own hair, people assume that they can just do and try everything and not suffer consequences. If you use a flat iron or you use a blow dryer and the heat setting is too high, you will definitely get breakage. Not knowing how often to moisturize is another one. When you have relaxed hair, you don't think about moisturizing daily because it maintains moisture a lot easier. But then you go natural and you think, well, I'll just moisturize it on my wash day. And then 3 days later, your hair is dry like a Brillo pad and you're wondering why. You have to continuously make sure you moisturize your hair. And then the third thing I would say would be detangling. You have to set some time out for detangling. Yes. There's no need to use a comb every day, contrary to popular belief, which probably would be the fourth thing. Don't use a comb every day, but going back to the third thing, detangle with a lot of slippery conditioner with a nice comb or a brush so you can get all the tangles out. Keep your hair free from those tangles on that wash day. But like I said, the number 4 thing, don't comb your hair every day. It causes a lot of breakage. And I would say sleep with a satin bonnet at night, because it helps to maintain moisture in your hair throughout the night instead of it drying out due to the cotton in your sheets.
And what would you say are the best products and why?
Well, first of all, I absolutely love Shea Moisture products. Shea Moisture is a company that focuses on using shea butter for moisture. And shea butter is one of those butters that our hair just loves it so much. It adds so much nourishment and so much conditioning properties that you just can't get away from it. And it's a popular product in a lot of products for a popular ingredient in a lot of products for natural hair. So definitely Shea Moisture would be my number 1. My number 2 most recently has turned into Eden Body Works. They also have a shea butter based product line, which is really great for the hair. And then number 3, I would say would be Curls. Curls is a great product that really offers variety for women of various cultures and various textures, not just women who are black, but culturally open to various curly styles. So those would be my top 3.
What wouldn't you do to your hair?
I would never color my hair, personally. I love the darkness of my black hair, and I've just seen so many people who have experimented with color and suffer from unnecessary dryness. And it's just really hard on the hair. So for me, I wouldn't color. But I do love seeing women who have colored their hair. It's beautiful. I mean, the colors just from red to purples to blues to greens. I mean, love it. I always say be bold, be you, be natural. Enjoy your natural hair. I would never color, and I've flat ironed before and I didn't really enjoy it. The experience was just so dreadful. I smelled hair burning all day. And so that's just not something I really want to do ever again. I just love my hair with its natural kink.
That kind of answers my next question, which was going to be, what's the biggest mistakes you've ever made with your hair?
I definitely wore a weave for a period of time. It was a natural looking weave, which was very exciting for me because usually the weaves are straight, European straight. So I went with a natural looking weave so that I could get that protection like I described earlier, to just give my hair a break as an option and also to share the experience with my audience. Well, some of the decisions I made around the installation of the weave caused me to suffer a lot of breakage in the crown and in the back of my hair, and there was a decrease in density all over. So when I took the extensions out, you could see that my hair wasn't as thick and full as it used to be. It was very obvious. And so for that reason, I thought to myself, while weaves are definitely a beautiful adornment to add to your hair styling collection, for me personally, my hair just can't handle it. It's just too fragile. It just can't handle the weight of it. So it's just something I'm going to stay clear of.
Okay, what advice would you give to anyone who wants particularly longer hair?
I would say first focus on hair health. The same way that you want your body to be healthy and you have to eat well, you can't just say, I want to be healthy. It's the same thing. You can't just want long hair. You have to work for it. So focus on hair health and focus on the health of your body. Nourish your hair from the inside out. Drink lots of water, eat lots of wholesome foods, because a lot of the ingredients in your foods help to nourish your hair. Biotin, collagen, iron, and as well as keratin. All of these things can be found in the foods that you eat. And then from there, after you're eating and you're exercising and you're getting your body and your health right, focus on the health of your hair on the outside by doing your treatments. Shampooing on a weekly basis should be pretty much the maximum you should do. Shampooing too frequently really dries out the the hair follicle. Deep conditioning, which is different from a regular traditional rinse out conditioner, where you add the deep conditioner to your hair and you let it sit. Put on a bonnet, go under a hooded dryer, or just leave it on for a little while you clean and dust up the house. After your deep conditioning treatment, your hair will be the softest you've ever imagined. Get your trims regularly. I say on a seasonal, it's just easier every summer, fall, winter, spring, because the weathering that you have experienced due to styling and just natural elements, you have to get that cut off. And after your trims and after your deep conditionings, I would say you would probably want to make sure you focus on some type of like healthy nighttime regimen. It's not enough to just go to sleep, because there will be a lot of breakage and a lot of dryness. So have a routine. I myself find that when I twist my hair up, not necessarily like small twists, but even very large ones, my hair maintains moisture so much better because my hair is just bound. Anything that's bound tightly just maintains moisture, heat, and so on. So it just helps to do that. I mentioned earlier sleeping with a satin bonnet to keep your hair moisturized. Satin is just a type of fabric that is so tightly bound that the moisture just doesn't escape as easily like cotton. Yeah. And cotton is very absorbing, so that in and of itself will take some of the moisture out of your hair.
How concerned are you about the preoccupation of hair types?
I think it's good to know when you're looking at someone who you can't see or speak to in person, or you're looking at someone who's not a licensed professional. So if you're watching a video like mine, it would be helpful to understand that my hair type and your hair type are similar or absolutely not, because the choices that I make will influence you to do things that may not work for you if our hair is very, very different, or may work for you perfectly if our hair is the same. But when you're working with a stylist or a professional, what they're more concerned about is how porous is your hair? How does it maintain moisture? How dense is your hair? How fine is your hair? How healthy is your hair? And so on. So those terminologies and understanding hair type don't really have a place in the professional world, but between people, I think it's great to understand where we're from. But what bothers me is when people use it to break down someone else and to say to someone else, well, you're not really natural because your hair type is a 3A or something like that, which because of the type, you have this this prejudice amongst other people. And when you look at the type as overall, everyone in school, when you think of a grade, you want an A because it excels, and you want to be the top of the class. You want to be number one. You don't want to be the person who's getting C's. Well, you don't want to be the person who is fourth. You want to be number one. So the class system of the hair type, if used in a very negative way, can make people feel inferior. Because your hair type is a 4, not a 1, which is more prestigious in classes system. And you're not an A, you're a C. So now you're even more inferior. So you're the 4C. You're the bottom of the bottom of the bottom.
Just the hair type system, you'd say, has negative connotations.
It does for people who use it in a way like that. But I found that when in the beginning of my journey, a lot of people didn't refer to it that way. It was just a way to understand where you fit in, because if you didn't know your hair type, making product choices was horrible. You'd go into a store, and also there weren't many choices for us too. Mm-hmm. So you go in a store and you say, well, what do I use? I don't know where to begin. These are products that were here before I went natural, so now I don't know what to do. Well, let me watch a video. I'll go on YouTube, I'll look up Jenell, and let me see what she's using. She's a 4B, she's a 4C. Our hair types are similar, so I know I can feel confident in making choices around what she said, whereas someone else who I can clearly see her hair type is not like mine, maybe not so much with what she does, because I can't emulate her to a T. And that was pretty much how it was created, so that you understood your hair texture, you understood how it absorbed moisturizers, you understood how it depleted moisture and things like that, which is what it was made to do, give you an understanding.
Hair goals, do you have one?
I used to say I wanted ankle length hair. I wanted to be the real life Rapunzel.
That. Everybody else is asking for hip length or mid back length.
Why stop there?
Ankle length. Hey.
Ankle length, yes. I wanted to be the first Black Rapunzel. And so, yeah, I know we do actually have someone who's like the first Black Rapunzel, but she has locks. I forget her name. But yeah, I just wanted ankle length hair. And the funny side of it was saying ankle length, but the reality is I just wanted really long hair. healthy hair because I had never had it. With the relaxer, my hair grew to my shoulders, and that was it. It broke off right there. So my goal was to get past that area, and I actually have done that. So now my goals are to, honestly, it has nothing to do with me, but because I have a daughter, my goal is for her hair to be the envy of all her friends. I want her friends with straight hair to go home and say, Mommy, how do I get my hair to look like hers? That's what I want. So my goal has very little to do with me now.
How often do you trim your hair?
Every season. You can say every 3 to 4 months. So I went in January, and then I went again in May, and I'll be there again in September.
Why seasons?
Because every 4 months around that time is the normal wear and tear of your hair can be visible without it causing extensive damage, because you will experience breakage at the ends. You may experience split ends. And then just that natural thinness that happens, you'll see that your hair will be thick and supple and very even in density all throughout. And then you get to the end and it's very fine, or maybe one area is longer than the other, and so on. When you go past 4 months, that weathering just keeps creeping up and up and up, and naturally damaging hair that wasn't originally damaged. So you catch it at that point, trim it off, and then your hair can continue to grow healthy from that point.
And then finally, how have you managed to grow such a healthy head of hair?
I focus, like I said earlier, about eating right. I eat very healthy. I love raw fruits and vegetables. Stay away from too many carbs. I like my brown carbs, so I do the brown rice, I do the wheat bread, I do the quinoa. I drink so much water. It's been miserable traveling because I keep my water low. And I can feel it in my body that I'm not thoroughly hydrated in an effort to avoid going to the bathroom every 5 minutes. So drink a lot of water. I exercise routinely 5 days a week. I run about 25 miles a week. So that in itself puts your body in an optimal place to truly enhance everything else. Not just hair. Your skin shows when you're eating good and you're working out. Your nails show. Your face, everything, your eyes, your body feels so much better. Your energy. So put your body in an optimal place. I eat well and I work out. And then lastly, I follow a very healthy hair regimen that requires very low manipulation and following some of the tips that I gave earlier, shampooing at least once a week, deep conditioning, getting my trims, and I follow through with my healthy hair regimen at night.
Wonderful. Actually, maybe I'll just get you to say, if I say, what is your hair regimen?
My hair regimen starts with a shampoo, a deep conditioning, and then I also do a protein treatment every month or every other week, depending on how my hair feels. And the protein is just adding back it's building and repairing the natural protein in my hair, because our hair is protein. And then after that, on a weekly basis, I will either twist my hair with moisturizing products like the Shea Moisture that I shared with you, and some oils. I love coconut oil, Jamaican black castor oil, which are very rich in emollients and also very lubricating for your hair, so it adds a shine. And then I will twist it, and then I will loosen it during the week to wear my hair in a nice big afro, which is what people usually recognize me by. When I'm not doing that, I keep my hair in twists and I just wear it in a ponytail, and that just helps to keep it low manipulation. And then I've been recently doing what we call the wash and go. The name can be misleading because it's not literal, but it's just a curly style where my natural texture is enhanced, and then I wear that. And then I just repeat that on a weekly to bi-weekly basis, maintaining my hair at night with my satin bonnet and eating right through